Okay, so this week, for this first segment, we're going to be talking about gaming with an audience. So both of us have kind of gamed with an audience, and I just kind of want to think. So you have a specific background in this because you recently did a streaming project with Mass Effect. Do you want to kind of talk about what that was like and how that changed how you played the game?
Yeah, I mean, well, it wasn't exactly a streaming project. I did start streaming at the same time as the project, but it was a different game. For Mass Effect, I played the game for a block, so it's 3.5 weeks here at Cornell, and I would write about my experience with it, and I was sort of trying to evaluate the narrative processes that were going into the game making for that. So a lot of it was really trying to be very evaluative about how the game is formatted as far as narrative goes. So really a lot of times what I was doing is I was playing the game and I was taking notes, on my game experience, which was like the ultimate level of nerdiness. I was really feeling it. And then I would sort of, afterwards I'd write a blog post and then a couple of more academic type things for my professor, sort of explaining that experience. And it definitely changed, a little bit for me how I played the game, because normally, you don't think about things like narrative or stuff like that when you're playing. You just experience it. So it was very interesting.
Do you think it made the game experience more enjoyable or less enjoyable?
It's like tomato,
Okay.
it's like
So a cop-out answer.
Yeah, a cop-out answer, as per usual. It's my favorite way to go. No, but it was not less enjoyable or more enjoyable. It was just a different experience. I think in general, I like playing more when I'm not thinking about that kind of stuff, just because it's very exhausting to play a game and have to think about that stuff all the time. But it definitely made me notice more things. So I guess I was more cognizant of stuff that I wouldn't have been aware of otherwise. So I was probably a better player of the game, a better reader. Like when you annotate something, you notice more, even though it's kind of stressful to do.
Right, and I had kind of a similar experience with my streaming of Unravel, and I posted on YouTube earlier. But I wasn't really I wasn't doing something that was like purposefully as analytical as the stuff you posted on your blog on Mass Effect. But like when I was playing it, I felt like I really had to be. I also took some notes on it whenever I play a game and I know I'm going to review it. I'm like, okay, what do I need to know about it? Because I feel like I need to know how to talk about it. I can't just experience it. I think I would kind of agree with you in your non-answer. It's kind of like it's less enjoyable in the sense that like I feel like I have to be on when I'm playing it a little bit, especially at first with like those opening scenes, the kind of big things you have to describe to a reader, like what are the game mechanics, what's the vocabulary I need to use to describe this, what's the art style, what's the narrative, does it give you a tutorial? It does not give you a tutorial. So I feel like in the beginning parts I'm like really aware that I have to review it. And then I think when I get deeper into the game, I kind of forget that a little bit. But I think especially that opening, it's like, because that's like the first thing that the gamer gets. So it's like, what is this first thing? What is this introduction? So I think that can be kind of like a little stressful, I think. Like I'm really looking forward to playing some games that I'm not going to be using. I feel like ever since I started writing for Bit Cultures, like I look at these games and I think about like writing articles on them, whether they're for my indie games thing with Ryan, where every 2 weeks we post an article, or where both of us play our own indie games and drink our own craft beer, and then we talk about how that goes together. And when I'm not doing that, I'm writing reviews, so I feel like I need to pick a game that I'm not going to be like writing on. I guess, do you feel like you have to be playing games that you're not writing on?
Definitely, you need a break.
Yeah.
It's like I compare a lot of stuff to reading. It's because I'm an English major, but like if I'm reading a bunch of stuff for class, I don't want to read that stuff in my free time. I want to read something else. So you got to have like a break novel, or something like that, or just something that you're working on that's like non-academic. And I feel like what we do a lot of times with writing about games or sort of presenting games for an audience is academic in a lot of ways. So it feels really similar to me. I like having games where I just can play them without having to worry about an audience. It's funny because as much as I do with having an audience, I really don't like people watching me play games. Like at my house, like I'll ask my little sisters to leave the room. Like I don't want them to watch me. So I think I need that in order to be able to have an audience later. Like right now for me, I'm playing Dragon Age Origins. That's my break game. That's the game where like my roommate can watch me play, but like that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I don't want anyone to really know I'm playing it. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to play the game. It's my experience. I don't know if you're working on anything right now that's like not for Bit Cultures. I know you've been pretty busy with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Not yet, but I think I do want to pick something that I have Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which is really old, but I haven't beat it yet. And I have Animal Crossing Happy Home Hunter, which I really love playing, just on all these little cute things. But I feel like I want like a more tradition, especially because my background's like an action adventure, so I feel like, even though those are definitely games and they're super valid, they're not really like my usual style. So I feel like I need like an action adventure or a puzzler to make me feel like I'm really playing a game that's just for myself, because both those games are pretty slow paced. I mean, you can binge play them, and I guess they're not slow paced, but you're walking through the grass, and you're painstakingly moving like a couch around. It's not really like exciting and action based. So I think I want something a little more typical of what I play to really feel like I'm getting a break.
Right.
Which I haven't found that yet. I guess I could do that with Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, I should probably do that with Sunset Overdrive, because then I won't have to buy another game to take a break. But yeah, I also have a lot of old games that I need to play. I have like a bunch of N64 games that have just been sitting there.
It's weird how huge my backlog is, and yet I'm always like, oh man, I need a break game. It's like, so many.
Yeah,
pick
right,
you know?
But I don't know.
Backlog is a topic for a different video, most likely. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But going back to the idea of streams a little bit, I thought it was interesting, which we were talking about with like Unravel, how you feel like you have to be on the whole time, and I feel like I had sort of a similar experience when I do stream Fallout 4 and I do One Life thing. So like, I know you know about this a little bit, but that if I die forever, and I play on hard mode, and for me, I felt like the experience was kind of cheapened when I went from playing at home. I had my brother watch, because we play this together, so we take turns, we watch each other die over and over again. And I feel like that experience was cheapened when I went back to school and I didn't have anyone watch me, and I was like, oh, I died, and it was awful, and this meant so much to me, and no one saw it happen. So like, did it actually happen? Like, is my experience valid? And it was like too much, and so that's why I decided to start streaming it. And I think that helped a lot with it, because it does feel more meaningful, but it also is like the most stressful thing I've ever done, because first of all, I have to talk to everyone the whole time while I'm trying not to die, and sometimes I just want everyone to like shut up, and I want to shut up, and I want to just not die. And I also feel like, there's this whole new level of, with Twitch streaming at least, there's also this level of people like evaluating you as a gamer.
Yeah.
Like, are you a good gamer?
That's something I felt a lot when I played Unravel, and I wrote an article recently on this on Big Cultures as well that was talking about how I was an article that basically got at, I kind of suck at games in a lot of ways. Even though I don't actually, when I really evaluate it, I have a lot of schema for like knowing where things will be, where hidden items will be, how if you can go there, it's probably there for a reason. There's something secret up there, but like. When I played Unravel, and especially because the game glitched out like very early in my stream of it, so I was like really stressed out about like everything, and I'm just kind of like, okay, like, are people gonna know I suck, and then they're gonna be judging me? I think also, honestly, being like a female gamer is also an extra layer of feel like people judging me, which I know like I probably shouldn't come in assuming people are gonna judge me, and if they do it, I shouldn't care.
Well, there's a reason why I assume people are gonna judge us.
I know, and I shouldn't. It shouldn't really like. It shouldn't bother me, but it's something on my mind. I feel like I have to be a little like that. I'm like representing the female gaming community, and I suck. And it's
definitely. No, I feel like people are constantly another video for another time. But just while we're on the topic, I think as far as like gaming for an audience goes, I think people are always expecting you to prove yourself. You're like, oh well, if you're a female gamer, you're probably not good. So like, if you want to be like one of the like, it feels like there's sort of an exclusive club. Like you can only be a female gamer, a true female gamer, if you're like this good. And
right.
So that's dumb.
Yeah.
Because I'm very bad at Fallout 4, which is why I die a lot. But it's what it is. I mean, it's part of the gaming experience, and so I guess that's my biggest stress as someone playing for an audience, is that people are gonna like know my deficiencies as a gamer.
Yeah, I think there's also that I think when you stream, and then especially if you end up putting it up on YouTube, which I did, and I just did it the way it was because I didn't feel like editing it. It seems like a lot of work. I just kind of wanted to get the information out there. But I know I've looked up videos of people playing games before and watched them, or I've looked up stuff for tutorials. And if they're ever dragging or making a mistake, I get very annoyed because I just want the information. And it's funny because that's as someone who has uploaded stuff, that's something that I'm really self-conscious about, and I hate that I hate that people are thinking that, but I'm also the person that thinks that. So it's kind of this weird double-edged sword of we're all a little awful to each other in our expectations, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have an obligation to be good if you're streaming?
It's interesting because I think that I thought that going in, and that's why I was so nervous to do my first stream, and I was so nervous I was going to die in my first video. I didn't. I died in my second video. But, the whole day I was kind of I don't know, I was really stressed out about it, and I was like, I don't really want to do this, But then I got some feedback from people, and a lot of them were like, no, really what I like the most is just watching someone experience a game, like, and seeing how they experience it different from me, or like what their unique perspective is on a game. And I think that's what's really important in a stream, which is going to get at least, if not the largest audience, the most engaged or interested audience, you know, the funnest people in your audience group. And I found that to be true when I'm streaming for Fallout. I get some really interesting comments from people. And it's not about, like, how good I am. It's about, like, decisions I'm making, or, like, how interesting something that just happened was. And I really appreciate that. I think that it brings a lot of good people into the group if you are doing something different than other people, even if you're not that great at it.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the perks of streaming with Fallout. It's, like, not a linear game. Like, when I was, like, and I know you've played Unravel before, which is why I keep using it, but when I played Unravel, like, Unravel's a very linear game. You have, like, your little levels inside the pictures, and then, so I feel like there's maybe, like, less room for, like, discussion and intrigue on that level, so then it was just kind of, like, someone stuck who can't figure out a puzzle. You know, I was stuck on that, the boat area, just because I didn't realize, like,
that part was so hard.
I knew you could hook onto the little, I'm not going to give it away to anybody, but I knew you could hook onto, like, something, and I was pulling it, but I just didn't wait long enough, which was just, like, and I remember I was streaming, and this one guy was watching me, and he was commenting on the thing, and I was just, like, so stuck, and then you guys went around, because I was just in my separate dorm room, and I, like, couldn't get out, and I had nowhere to go, and I was like, I'm ending the stream now, and it was very uncomfortable. But yeah, I think there's something interesting about gaming with an audience. I guess it just makes you more aware, which is probably good for some things. I don't know, but
I think it's good to have a variety of experiences under your belt as a gamer.
Yeah.
So you don't have to stream all the time, but it's nice to have that part of your gaming life.
Yeah.
And then you need to have other parts of your gaming life. Like,
right.
You gotta be varied.
Yeah, and I think with trying to get into the industry, I feel like I'm trying to add in the industry part of my gaming life, so that, you know, things like streaming and tweeting, and the tweeting I find to be easier because you can just do that.
So bad.
You can just pause it, and then, like, you know, you can take. I've done a lot of tweets on, like, Alpha Sapphire, because there's weird dialogue stuff, so I've, like, tweeted about it. Like, what is this? Why is this guy saying this? But I feel like I've been adding on, like, the industry parts of it, but then I'm, like, neglecting, like, having, like, I guess my own personal gaming life, like, that's outside of a community. So I feel like I'm having a hard time finding that balance, and then I want to get my server blog going up, so it's just, like, yeah, I think it's really hard to do that, but I do think it's really important to have, like, something that, or else you just kind of feel like the gaming becomes work, which is the kind of the fear of people going into the industry. And
right.
Like, oh, the thing you love is now going to be awful. Even though I still really like, I've had a good time playing the games I've played when I'm playing them with the intent of reviewing them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, like, a little different.
It's just a different dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's not the dynamic you want in your whole gaming life. It's just not. Although I would say that I've enjoyed gaming a lot more as a whole since I started doing things that are more industry-based.
Yeah.
Like my gaming life. You know, not necessarily that I enjoy those things more than the other things. It's just I feel more fleshed out as a gamer. And I feel like it's so fun to engage with the gaming community.
Yeah, I think the community is
weird
really
because I'm introverted, but, like, this is, like, a really nice way for me to be detached from people and talk to them. And be engaged in, like, a dialogue with people. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think the fact that I am trying to establish some type of gaming audience, it's made me play more games and, like, read them more closely, and in that I have more things I can talk to people about, because, like, I've always loved games, but, like, I feel like a good portion, like, especially the last couple of years, like, when I was a kid, I played games, like, all the time, and then as I've gotten older, it's kind of staved off, because for a lot of reasons, you know, laziness, or not making time for it, or you just don't keep up with, like, what's going on. So I'm aware of, like, games, but I haven't, like, bought a lot of recent ones. Like, my PS2, PS3 knowledge is really intense, but then after that gen, it kind of starts to, like waver a little bit. So I feel like having a gaming audience and, like, feeling like I need to keep playing games and keep writing about games makes me more aware of, like, what's going on, and I can talk to people more, which is great, because then we can, like, I feel like I'm expanding what I understand about it, and, like, what's out there, and it's, like, opening up, like, other doors. I just need to make sure that I think pick something also that isn't on display for everyone, and just to enjoy that on its own.
I think we'll figure it out one day. We can have it all.